the central component that orchestrates the interaction between various AI components and external tools, defines the sequence of steps and logic for processing user input and generating output, stores and retrieves past interactions for context-aware responses, interacts with external tools to perform tasks and retrieve information, searches and retrieves relevant information from structured data sources, provides predefined prompts for different scenarios and tasks, integrates external tools e.g., search engines, APIs to enhance capabilities, provides access to OpenAI's large language models LLMs for text generation, translation, and other AI tasks. A family of powerful language models, including GPT 3.5 and GPT 4, capable of generating human-like text, generates responses to user input based on the chosen LLM and context, receives user input and initiates the interaction with LangChain, delivers the final generated output to the user. Langchainopenai chat models Azure integration. This architecture demonstrates the integration of LangChain with Azure OpenAI services for building powerful chatbot applications. Input represents the user's input, which can be text, code, or data. Receives user input and passes it to LangChain for processing. LangChain. Data flow. LangChain, a powerful framework for building and deploying language models, handles prompt engineering, data retrieval, chain of thought reasoning, and agent-based interactions, orchestrates the flow of data and logic within the system. Azure Chat OpenAI, data flow, prompt engineering, control flow, data retrieval, control flow, chain of thought, control flow, agent, control flow. Azure Chat OpenAI, Azure's managed service for accessing OpenAI's powerful chat models, provides access to various chat models like GPT 3.5 and GPT 4. OpenAI API, data flow, LangChain, data flow, OpenAI API, the core API for interacting with OpenAI's language models, exposes a set of endpoints for sending prompts and receiving responses from OpenAI models. Azure Chat OpenAI, data flow, Azure OpenAI service, data flow, Azure OpenAI service, a dedicated service on Azure for deploying and managing OpenAI models, provides a secure and scalable environment for running OpenAI models. OpenAI API, data flow, prompt engineering, the process of crafting effective prompts for language models, designs and optimizes prompts to elicit desired responses from the language model. LangChain, control flow, Azure OpenAI service, data flow, data retrieval, the process of retrieving relevant data to supplement model responses, fetches information from external sources like databases or APIs based on user input and context of the conversation. LangChain, control flow, Azure Cognitive Services, data flow, Azure Cognitive Services, Azure's suite of AI services for various tasks like natural language processing and computer vision, provides access to AI-powered APIs for retrieving and processing data. Data retrieval, data flow, Azure AI services, data flow, Azure AI services, Azure's broader set of AI services, encompassing machine learning, cognitive services, and more, provides a platform for building and deploying advanced AI solutions. Azure Cognitive Services, data flow, OpenAI API, data flow, chain of thought, a reasoning technique that helps models generate more coherent and explainable responses, guides the language model to think step by step and provide a detailed explanation of its reasoning process. LangChain, control flow, prompt engineering, control flow, agent, a component that allows the language model to interact with external systems. Provides the model with the ability to perform actions like searching the web, executing code, or interacting with APIs. LangChain, control flow, chain of thought, control flow, output, the final response generated by the system. Displays the model's response in a user-friendly format, which can include text, code, or other data. Agent, data flow. This class represents the core functionality for interacting with OpenAI's Chat API. Model name, str, specifies the name of the OpenAI model to use for chat interactions. Temperature, float, controls the degree of randomness in the generated responses. Higher values result in more creative and unpredictable responses. Max tokens, int, limits the maximum number of tokens generated in each response. Top, float, a parameter used in nucleus sampling, limiting the probability distribution of possible tokens during generation. Top, int, another parameter for nucleus sampling, limiting the number of possible tokens considered during generation. Frequency penalty, float, penalizes the model's tendency to repeat tokens already generated in a conversation. Presence penalty, float, penalizes the model for using tokens that have already been used in a conversation. Int, specifies the number of different responses to be generated for a given input. Stop, list str, defines a list of strings that, if encountered during generation, will cause the model to stop generating further text. Stream, bool, indicates whether the response should be streamed back to the user in real time. Log probs, int, specifies the number of most probable tokens to include in the returned response, providing insight into the model's reasoning. Get chat completion, internal method responsible for fetching the chat completion from OpenAI's API based on configured parameters. Call, the main entry point for initiating a chat interaction. It takes user messages as input and generates responses using the OpenAI model. Generate response, generates the chat response based on the user's input and the configured parameters. Format response, formats the received response from the OpenAI API into a user-friendly format. Format messages, formats the user's input messages into a format suitable for the OpenAI API. Get response summary, provides a concise summary of the generated chat response. LangChain chat models, Chat OpenAI, a LangChain component that interfaces with the OpenAI API. Handles communication with the OpenAI API and provides a consistent interface for interacting with various OpenAI models. OpenAI API, communication, outgoing, sends API requests containing model selection, prompt, and other parameters. Model selection, data flow, incoming, receives the selected OpenAI model to be used for generating responses. Temperature, data flow, incoming, receives the temperature parameter for controlling the randomness of the generated response. Max tokens, data flow, incoming, receives the maximum number of tokens allowed for the generated response. Top, data flow, incoming, receives the nucleus sampling parameter for controlling the diversity of the generated response. Top K, data flow, incoming, receives the top sampling parameter for controlling the diversity of the generated response. Frequency penalty, data flow, incoming, receives the frequency penalty parameter for penalizing repeated words and phrases. Presence penalty, data flow, incoming, receives the presence penalty parameter for penalizing words or phrases that have already appeared in the response. Stop sequence, data flow, incoming, receives the stop sequence parameter for indicating when the response generation should stop. OpenAI API, the core service responsible for providing access to OpenAI models, provides functionalities for selecting models, sending prompts, and receiving generated responses. Chat OpenAI. Communication. Incoming. Receives API requests from Chat OpenAI containing model selection, prompt, and other parameters. Model selection. A component that defines the specific OpenAI model to be used for generating responses. Determines which OpenAI model, e.g., GPT-3, GPT-4 will be utilized for generating responses. Chat OpenAI. Data flow. Outgoing. Provides the selected OpenAI model to Chat OpenAI for communication with the OpenAI API. Temperature. A parameter that controls the randomness of the generated response. Adjusts the degree of randomness in the response, with higher values leading to more creative and unexpected outputs. Chat OpenAI. Data flow. Outgoing. Provides the temperature value to Chat OpenAI for passing to the OpenAI API. Max tokens. A parameter that limits the maximum number of tokens allowed in the generated response. Specifies the upper bound on the length of the generated response. Chat OpenAI. Data flow. Outgoing. Provides the maximum token limit to Chat OpenAI for passing to the OpenAI API. Top. A parameter that controls the diversity of the generated response using nucleus sampling. Adjusts the probability distribution of the generated tokens, favoring those with higher probabilities, thereby influencing the response's coherence and diversity. Chat OpenAI. Data flow. Outgoing. Provides the nucleus sampling parameter to Chat OpenAI for passing to the OpenAI API. Top K. A parameter that controls the diversity of the generated response using top K sampling. Selects the top K most probable tokens for generation, encouraging a wider range of potential responses. Chat OpenAI. Data flow. Outgoing. Provides the top K sampling parameter to Chat OpenAI for passing to the OpenAI API. Frequency penalty. A parameter that penalizes repeated words and phrases in the generated response. Reduces the likelihood of using words or phrases that have already appeared frequently in a response, promoting a more diverse and engaging output. Chat OpenAI. Data flow. Outgoing. Provides the frequency penalty value to Chat OpenAI for passing to the OpenAI API. Presence penalty. A parameter that penalizes words or phrases that have already appeared in the response. Discourages the reuse of words or phrases that have already been used, ensuring the response does not become repetitive or redundant. Chat OpenAI. Data flow. Outgoing. Provides the presence penalty value to Chat OpenAI for passing to the OpenAI API. Stop sequence. A parameter that specifies when the response generation should stop. Defines a specific sequence of tokens that signals the end of the response generation process, ensuring that the response remains within the desired length and avoids unwanted repetition. Chat OpenAI. Data flow. Outgoing. Provides the stop sequence value to Chat OpenAI for passing to the OpenAI API. LangChainopenai embeddings. This architecture utilizes LangChain and OpenAI's embedding models for information retrieval in response generation. User input. Provides initial text input to the system. Captures user queries or text. Text preprocessing indexing. Data. Passes the input to be preprocessed for indexing. Text preprocessing indexing. Prepares the input text for embedding. Performs tasks like cleaning, tokenization, and normalization. Tokenization indexing. Data. Sends the preprocessed text to be tokenized. Tokenization indexing breaks the text into individual tokens. Divides the text into meaningful units like words or phrases. Embedding model OpenAI data passes the tokens to the embedding model. Embedding model OpenAI generates vector representations of the input text. Converts tokens into numerical vectors using OpenAI's embedding API. Embeddings vector representation data outputs the embeddings for each input text. Embeddings vector representation stores the numerical representations of the input text. Holds the embeddings generated by the embedding model. LangChain data provides the embeddings to LangChain for indexing. LangChain manages the indexing and retrieval process. Uses the embeddings to index the input text in a vector database. Vector database data passes the embeddings to the vector database for indexing. Vector database stores the indexed embeddings for efficient retrieval. Stores the embeddings and allows similarity search. Index embeddings data stores the indexed embeddings. Index embeddings represents the indexed embeddings in the database. Holds the numerical representations for future retrieval. Query input provides the user's query for information retrieval. Captures the user's query. Text preprocessing query data passes the query to be preprocessed. Text preprocessing query prepares the query for embedding. Performs cleaning, tokenization, and normalization. Tokenization query data sends the preprocessed query to be tokenized. Tokenization query breaks the query into individual tokens. Divides the query into meaningful units. Embedding model OpenAI data passes the tokens to the embedding model. Embedding model OpenAI generates vector representations of the query. Converts query tokens into numerical vectors. Query embeddings vector representation data outputs the query embeddings. Query embeddings vector representation stores the numerical representation of the query. Holds the embeddings generated from the query. Similarity search data provides the query embeddings for similarity search. Similarity search finds similar documents based on embeddings. Compares query embeddings against indexed embeddings. Retrieval similar documents data returns the most similar documents based on the search. Retrieval similar documents retrieves relevant documents from the database. Accesses the vector database to fetch similar documents. Summarization or other NLP tasks data passes the retrieved documents for further processing. Summarization or other NLP tasks processes the retrieved documents. Performs tasks like summarization, question answering, or other NLP operations based on the retrieved content. Final response data sends the processed results to generate the final response. Final response generates the system's response to the query. Formulates the final response based on the processed information. LangChain OpenAI embeddings on Azure. Azure OpenAI Service provides access to OpenAI's large language models LLMs and APIs for tasks such as text generation, translation, and code completion. Azure OpenAI embeddings provides embeddings functionality. Sends text data to Azure OpenAI embeddings for embedding generation. Azure OpenAI embeddings generates numerical representations embeddings of text data, enabling semantic comparisons and analysis. Azure Cognitive Services provides embedding results. Sends generated embeddings to Azure Cognitive Services for further processing. Azure Storage stores embeddings for later retrieval. Sends embeddings to Azure Storage for persistence. Azure Cognitive Services offers a suite of AI services including vision, speech, language, and knowledge APIs. Azure Storage stores data and model results. Sends processed data and model outputs to Azure Storage. Azure Cosmos DB performs data storage and retrieval. Sends data to Azure Cosmos DB for database operations. Azure SQL Database performs data storage and retrieval. Sends data to Azure SQL Database for database operations. Azure Storage provides a durable and scalable storage service for various data types, including blobs, files, and tables. Azure Blob Storage stores data as blobs. Sends data to Azure Blob Storage for blob storage. Data Store provides storage for data. Sends data to Data Store for data storage. Data Store, a repository for storing and managing data relevant to the system. Azure Blob Storage provides storage for data. Sends data to Azure Blob Storage for blob storage. Azure Blob Storage provides object storage for unstructured data, such as images, videos, and documents. Azure Cosmos DB performs data storage and retrieval. Sends data to Azure Cosmos DB for database operations. Azure SQL Database performs data storage and retrieval. Sends data to Azure SQL Database for database operations. Azure Cosmos DB, a fully managed NoSQL database service for storing and querying data. Azure SQL Database performs data storage and retrieval. Sends data to Azure SQL Database for database operations. Azure Key Vault manages and stores secrets. Sends secrets to Azure Key Vault for secure storage. Azure SQL Database, a fully managed relational database service for structured data storage and querying. Azure Key Vault manages and stores secrets. Sends secrets to Azure Key Vault for secure storage. Azure Active Directory Azure AD provides authentication and authorization. Authenticates and authorizes user access. Azure Key Vault, a secure service for storing and managing cryptographic keys and other secrets. Azure Active Directory Azure AD provides authentication and authorization. Authenticates and authorizes user access. Azure Functions provides access to secrets. Sends secrets to Azure Functions for secure access. Azure Active Directory Azure AD provides identity and access management services for Azure resources. Azure Functions provides authentication and authorization. Authenticates and authorizes access to Azure Functions. Azure Logic Apps provides authentication and authorization. Authenticates and authorizes access to Azure Logic Apps. Azure API Management provides authentication and authorization. Authenticates and authorizes access to Azure API Management. Azure App Service provides authentication and authorization. Authenticates and authorizes access to Azure App Service. Azure Virtual Machines provides authentication and authorization. Authenticates and authorizes access to Azure Virtual Machines. Azure Container Instances provides authentication and authorization. Authenticates and authorizes access to Azure Container Instances. Azure Functions, a serverless compute service for running event-driven code without managing servers. Azure Logic Apps triggers workflow execution. Triggers Azure Logic Apps based on events. Azure Logic Apps, a cloud-based workflow service for automating tasks and processes across different applications and services. Azure API Management integrates with APIs. Interacts with APIs through Azure API Management. Azure API Management, a managed service for publishing, securing, and managing APIs. Azure App Service provides API access. Exposes APIs through Azure App Service. Azure App Service, a platform is a service PaaS offering for hosting web applications, APIs, and mobile backends. Azure Virtual Machines provides hosting for applications, hosts applications on Azure Virtual Machines. Azure Virtual Machines provides virtualized computing environments for running applications and workloads. Azure Container Instances provides hosting for containers, hosts containers in Azure Container Instances. Azure Container Instances provides a serverless container orchestration service for running containerized applications. LangChain, a framework for building and deploying LLM applications. OpenAI API utilizes OpenAI's API, sends requests to OpenAI API for LLM interactions. OpenAI API provides access to OpenAI's large language models and APIs. Azure OpenAI Embeddings provides embeddings functionality, sends text data to Azure OpenAI Embeddings for embedding generation. Azure OpenAI Embeddings, a LangChain component for interacting with Azure OpenAI's embedding API. LangChain OpenAI Embeddings Base. This system provides a framework for generating embeddings from text using the OpenAI API. OpenAI Embeddings. This component is responsible for interacting with the OpenAI API to generate embeddings for text. Model specifies the OpenAI model used for embedding generation, such as text embedding ADA 002, text embedding Babbage 001, text embedding Curie 001, or text embedding DaVinci 002. The selected model is used by the embedding subcomponent for generating embeddings. API key. The API key used to authenticate with the OpenAI API. The API key is used for authorization when interacting with the OpenAI API. Organization. The organization associated with the API key. The organization is used for identification and access control within the OpenAI API. Dimension specifies the dimension of the embedding vector to be generated. The dimension determines the size of the embedding vector. Type specifies the type of embedding vector to be generated. The type defines the characteristics of the embedding vector, such as its purpose. Embeddings. This subcomponent generates embeddings for input text using the selected model and API credentials. Input text is provided to this subcomponent, which then generates corresponding embedding vectors based on the configured model and API. Parameters. Encode. This subcomponent encodes input text into embedding vectors. Input text is passed to this subcomponent, which processes it and produces an embedding vector representation. Embed query. Embeds a query string into an embedding vector. A query string is provided to this subcomponent, which generates an embedding vector representing the query. Embed documents. Embeds a list of documents into embedding vectors. A list of documents is provided to this subcomponent, which generates embedding vectors for each document. Calculate similarity. Calculates the similarity between two embedding vectors. Two embedding vectors are provided to this subcomponent, which calculates a similarity score based on their relationship. Generating text embeddings using the OpenAI API. This component handles encoding input text into embedding vectors, embedding queries, embedding documents, and calculating similarity between embedding vectors. Usage. This component highlights the use cases and applications of the generated embeddings. Describing the various applications of embedding generation, such as document similarity, search and retrieval, and question answering. Example. This component provides a code example demonstrating how to use the LangChain OpenAI embeddings. Base system. Illustrating a practical code snippet showing how to instantiate the OpenAI embeddings class and utilize the embed query function to generate embeddings for a query. The user interacts with the LangChain OpenAI embeddings base system through the OpenAI embeddings component. This component utilizes the selected model and API credentials to generate embeddings. The system's functionality extends to encompass various use cases as defined within the usage component. A code example is provided in the example component to guide users on how to implement the system in their applications. ChatGPT, a conversational AI model. GPT-3, a powerful text generation model. DAL-A, an image generation model. Whisper, an automatic speech recognition model. Orchestrate sequences of actions involving LLMs and other components. Combine multiple components for complex tasks. Carefully crafted instructions that guide the LLM towards desired outputs. Control the behavior and quality of the LLM's responses. Allows LLMs to remember past interactions. Maintain context and provide more coherent responses over time. Provide LLMs access to external data sources. Process information beyond their initial training data. User interaction. The process starts with user input. Prompt engineering transforms the user's input into a well-structured prompt. LLM processing. The LLM receives the prompt and generates a response. Output. The LLM's response is presented to the user. Langchainopenai LLMs. LangChain, framework for orchestrating and integrating LLMs with other tools. LLMs. Users. LangChain utilizes LLMs to perform tasks. Azure OpenAI API connects to. LangChain interacts with Azure OpenAI API to access LLMs. Azure Cognitive Services API connects to. LangChain interacts with Azure Cognitive Services API for additional capabilities. Chains. Users. LangChain utilizes chains to orchestrate interactions. Agents. Users. LangChain utilizes agents to perform complex tasks. LLMs. Large language models GPT-3. GPT-4 responsible for generating text, translation, creative content, etc. LangChain. Used by. LLMs are used by LangChain to perform tasks. Azure OpenAI. Hosted on. LLMs are hosted on Azure OpenAI. Azure OpenAI. Platform for hosting and accessing cutting-edge LLMs like GPT-3 and GPT-4. LLMs. Hosts. Azure OpenAI hosts the LLMs. Azure OpenAI API provides. Azure OpenAI provides the API for accessing the LLMs. Azure subscription requires. Azure OpenAI requires an Azure subscription for access. Azure Cognitive Services. Platform for accessing various AI-powered capabilities like text analysis, language translation, etc. Azure Cognitive Services API provides. Azure Cognitive Services provides the API for accessing its services. Azure subscription requires. Azure Cognitive Services requires an Azure subscription for access. Azure subscription provides access to Azure services like Azure OpenAI and Azure Cognitive Services. Azure OpenAI required by. Azure OpenAI requires an Azure subscription. Azure Cognitive Services required by. Azure Cognitive Services requires an Azure subscription. Azure OpenAI API interface for accessing LLMs hosted on Azure OpenAI. LangChain connected to. LangChain connects to the Azure OpenAI API. Azure OpenAI provided by. Azure OpenAI provides the API. Azure Cognitive Services API interface for accessing AI capabilities provided by Azure Cognitive Services. LangChain connected to. LangChain connects to the Azure Cognitive Services API. Azure Cognitive Services provided by. Azure Cognitive Services provides the API. API key used to secure access to Azure OpenAI API and Azure Cognitive Services API. Azure OpenAI API required for. An API key is required for accessing the Azure OpenAI API. Azure Cognitive Services API. Required for. An API key is required for accessing the Azure Cognitive Services API. Chains. Components that orchestrate interactions between LLMs and other tools. LangChain. Used by. Chains are used by LangChain. LLMs. Interact with. Chains interact with LLMs. Tools. Interact with. Chains interact with tools. Agents. Entities that break down complex tasks into smaller steps, using LLMs and various tools. LangChain. Used by. Agents are used by LangChain. LLMs. Leverage. Agents leverage LLMs. Tools. May use. Agents may use tools to perform tasks. Tools. External components, like data sources, prompts, memories, that can be used by chains and agents. Chains. Used by. Tools are used by chains. Agents. Used by. Tools are used by agents. Deployment. The process of making the LLMs and API endpoints available. API key. Requires. Deployment requires an API key for security. Azure OpenAI. Performed on. Deployment is performed on Azure OpenAI. Endpoint. The address used to access the deployed LLMs and APIs. Deployment. Created by. An endpoint is created by the deployment process. LangChain. Connected to. LangChain connects to the endpoint. Request. Information sent from LangChain to the LLMs or other APIs. LangChain. Originates from. Requests originate from LangChain. Azure OpenAI API. Sent to. Requests are sent to the Azure OpenAI API. Azure Cognitive Services API. Sent to. Requests are sent to the Azure Cognitive Services API. Response. Information returned from the LLMs or APIs to LangChain. Azure OpenAI API. Returned by. Responses are returned by the Azure OpenAI API. Azure Cognitive Services API. Returned by. Responses are returned by the Azure Cognitive Services API. LangChain. Received by. Responses are received by LangChain. LangChain OpenAI LLMs base OpenAI. This system represents the architecture of a LangChain OpenAI LLM base. Specifically the base OpenAI class. Base OpenAI, the core component of the system, responsible for managing interactions with OpenAI LLMs. Init initializes the base OpenAI object, setting parameters like API key, temperature, and model name. Call handles the core call to the OpenAI LLM, taking a prompt as input and returning the generated text. Completion with retry implements retry logic for OpenAI completion requests, ensuring reliability. Completion with retries handles multiple retries for OpenAI completion requests, ensuring robustness. Get completion retrieves the completion response from OpenAI, managing the request and parsing the response. Get completion stream handles streaming completions from OpenAI, allowing for incremental text generation. Get OpenAI completion performs the actual OpenAI completion call, using the configured parameters and prompt. Get completion token usage analyzes the response from OpenAI to extract token usage information. Check completion errors validates the OpenAI completion response for errors and raises exceptions if necessary. Get completion output parser provides a parser for the output format of OpenAI completions. Base OpenAI init base OpenAI initializes itself with parameters provided in the constructor. Init call the initialization sets up the necessary components for call to work. Call completion with retry call delegates the request handling to completion with retry. Completion with retry Completion with retries. Completion with retry uses completion with retries for retry logic. Completion with retries. Get completion. Completion with retries makes multiple attempts to retrieve the completion using get completion. Get completion. Get OpenAI completion. Get completion uses get OpenAI completion to send the request to OpenAI. Get OpenAI completion. Check completion errors. Get OpenAI completion checks the response for errors using check completion errors. Check completion errors. Get completion token usage. If there are no errors. Check completion errors allows extracting token usage information using get completion token usage. Get completion token usage. Get completion output parser. Get completion token usage allows the system to pass the output using get completion output parser. Get completion. Get completion stream. The system can optionally use get completion stream for streaming completions. Provides the core interface to interact with OpenAI's API. API keys and credentials. Used for authentication and authorization when communicating with the OpenAI service. The gateway to OpenAI's services. Facilitating communication between the LangChain system and the OpenAI infrastructure. Actual large language models powering various functions. Text generation. Generating coherent and contextually relevant text based on user input or prompts. Text completion. Completing partially written text or generating text based on a given context. Chat completion. Enabling natural language conversations with a chatbot-like experience. Embeddings. Converting text into numerical representations for tasks like similarity comparisons and semantic search. Allows customizing the behavior of OpenAI models by training them on specific datasets or tasks. Model parameters. Parameters adjusted for specific domains or applications to enhance model performance.